I've been working all week, Pop. I just want to be free of all this for a day. Son, you keep dancing with the devil. One day he's going to follow you home.
You keep dancing with the devil. One day he's going to follow you home.
You keep dancing with the devil. One day he's going to follow you home. Now, that's not a line from one of my sermons, though if I can find a way to use it someday, I definitely will. That's a line from the movie that I'd call, as of September, the best movie of the year 2025 so far. Hello, and welcome back to Screen Sanctuary. I'm your host, Steve Chu, and today we're talking about Sinners. Not me and you, sinners, not so directly, but the 2025 movie directed by Ryan Coogler and starring Michael B. Jordan playing twin brothers. It's a horror film set in 1932 in the Mississippi Delta. The twins, Elijah Moore, known as Smoke, and Elias, known as Stack, return to their hometown after years away to set up a juke joint, a combination of a club for music, dancing, gambling, and drinking, your sinner's favorite establishment, only to be confronted by, spoiler alert, vampires. Here's the thing. It's a horror movie, but it's not a horror movie. It's a vampire movie, but it's not a vampire movie. I call it the best movie of 2025 so far because it's so thematically rich and well-crafted. It's got amazing performances and music, and it's everything you want to see in a good movie. So please, if you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it and come back and we can talk about it. For those who have seen it, one theme I find myself thinking about is freedom. Freedom is obviously an important theme in a movie focused on Black characters and Black art. And though it's set in a time after slavery was abolished in America, segregation and racism are very much still alive. The twins have a little cousin named Sammy, also called Preacher Boy. Early on in the movie, he has a conversation with his father, the preacher, in the church. His father is trying to convince him not to go out and play the guitar in the juke joint. Those places aren't for so-called good Christians. And Sammy tells him,
I've been working all week, Pop.
I've been working all week. I want to be free of all this. Many of the Black characters we see working in this film are working on cotton plantations. Only a generation or two has passed since they were slaves on those same plantations. They might be free legally, but they're still toiling away in the heat of oppression.
They call me Preacher
Sammy
Boy.
just wants a tiny taste of freedom, a little bit of escape, a way to release the stress through his music. In a conversation with his cousins, Sammy asks the twins about life in Chicago, a place he dreams of escaping to. He says, I heard they ain't got Jim Crow up there. A Black man can go where he wants. Jim Crow laws, if you don't know, were state and local laws that legalized racial segregation and discrimination against African Americans from the end of the slavery era until the civil rights movements. They were free, but not really free. That's why it's so important to them.
Chicago ain't shit but Mississippi with tall buildings instead of plantation.
Unfortunately for Sammy, the twins tell him, Chicago is pretty much the same as Mississippi, but with tall buildings instead of plantations. The film shows us how people are searching for freedom and outlets in their own way, whether it's in a juke joint, whether it's in the blues or drinking, or the church. What does freedom mean to you, and how important is it to you? Do you think of it in terms of civil rights and social justice, or are you looking for freedom as it pertains to escaping the pressures of work and society? Is it stress release, or do you think of it in the Christian sense, in freedom from, appropriately enough, sin? I think of the life-changing, life-freeing truth that is found in the cross, in the death and resurrection of Christ. The film has a lot to say about religion too, but we'll get to that in a little bit. The second theme that I'd like to talk about that is also really central to the film is music, or the power of music. The movie starts with a narration telling us there are legends of people born with the gift of making music so true it can pierce the veil between life and death. Conjuring spirits from the past and the future, this gift can bring healing to their communities, but it also attracts evil. Music, specifically Sammy's voice and guitar playing, is a powerful tool that moves people and brings them together to find their own kind of freedom. One great scene is when Stack hears him sing and play for the first time, and his reaction is just perfect. His reaction is my reaction. Great music will bring that out of people. But this music is also used as a plot device. It's what attracts the evil in the form of the vampire Remick. Before the vampires show up, there's also one great scene in the juke joint. Preacher boy Sammy is playing the blues, and the thing in the narration literally happens. His music conjures spirits from the past and future of black music. From African drums all the way to modern hip-hop, they all come together in celebration of the power of music. Some online haters found this scene cheesy, but it totally worked for me, and I loved it. See for yourself and tell me what you thought in the comments. I gotta be honest with you though, I don't know anything about the blues, I'm sorry. What I do know about the power of expression in art, whether it's in music or the moving image. Music gets talked a lot about in church. I grew up with mostly contemporary praise bands with rock-adjacent styles, but now I pastor in churches that exclusively sing hymns, most of them written before the early 20th century. Every context has music that, I hope, means something to them and is powerful to them and is their way of expression, whether it's praise and worship or songs of lament or what have you. What sort of music are you listening to, and what music moves you? Finally, and this is a tough one for a Christian-themed podcast, but the movie does seem to have a lot to say in its critique of religion, or at least in terms of religious hypocrisy and oppression. We see in Sammy's relationship with his father, how his father is so judgmental of Sammy's gift and where he wants to use it. He prefers that Sammy stay in church instead of going off to the juke joints to play for drunkards and philanderers. The man who's supposed to teach about love and acceptance, especially for the sinner, prefers that his son stay away from the so-called sinners instead. It's this sort of hypocrisy that Sammy wants to escape from and contributes to why he ultimately leaves it behind. In another scene, there's a quote that connects all the dots for us about what the movie thinks about religion. The musician Delta Slim tells Sammy, "Blues wasn't forced on us like that religion. We brought this with us from home. It's magic what we do. It's sacred and big." The film is making a statement about the direct contrast between blues, the music that came from their home and from their hearts and is crucial to their freedom of expression, and the church, the religion of their oppressors and the people who forced them from their home and owned them as slaves. It should make us think about how historically oppressive the church has been. The portrayal of Remick and the vampires, I think, also helps us to see the movie's criticism of religion. In a funny but kind of sad and scary way, the vampires keep trying to seduce the people or get invited in by repeating things like fellowship and love, two words that are probably some of the most commonly used in Christian circles. The vampires keep trying to convince the people that they're this happy family, just repeating over and over, fellowship and love, without much meaning to it. Later, the vampires drop the pretense, and Mary, wink wink, says, "After we kill y'all, we're gonna have heaven right here on earth." And Remick literally talks about saving them from their fate. The vampires are using Christian-coded language to basically say they want to kill off every last one of them. In the climax of the movie, Remick is about to bite and kill Sammy, and Sammy, resigned to his fate, starts reciting the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven,
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
And Remick recites it right there with him. Remick explains, "Long ago, the men who stole my father's land forced these words upon us. I hated those men, but the words still bring me comfort." This scene and a lot of the movie has a lot to say about religious oppression and the role of the church in colonization, and it's not a great look for the church and Christians. So how should we respond to a movie like this? I think it helps us to understand how many non-believers might view the church and Christians, why they're so wary of people who call themselves Christians, and why there's such a barrier to try and reach them when there's been so much hurt throughout history. I think also about the other side, those who would say, like Sammy's father, don't associate with sinners, Don't watch a movie called Sinners. Don't watch sinful Hollywood movies. I think that only makes it so much harder to reach people. If we truly understood how Jesus loved and ate with the so-called sinners, and that we are also called sinners, we wouldn't be so adverse to trying to understand others and really learn what it means to love others. I think I spent a little more of this episode examining the cultural themes than the spiritual ones, and I hope that's okay. I think it's all an important part of the conversations about these movies that I'd love to be having with you. Tell me what you thought about Sinners. Tell me what spoke to you from this movie. Tell me what movie you'd like me to talk about next. Make sure you like and subscribe, and until next time, see you at the movies.